Anyway, we're continuing on in the series on the duties and missions of citizens of Cheon Il Guk, the Heavenly Kingdom. And so it's quiz time again every week. See, I figure I'm going to pound this into you, so by the end you'll have all these 7 qualities memorized, right? So the first one is always the easiest one, right? We have to practice what?
True love.
True love, absolutely. So we need to be people who practice true love. We need to be people who follow our conscience, right? Our mind and body united, self-discipline. We need to educate and bring God's children home, witnessing. We need to live in harmony with the spiritual world, understanding our spiritual reality. Overcome selfish and be people who give. Be people who make a positive contribution to our environment and the world around us. And we need to protect and care for nature, our environment. The last point he makes is we should be heaven's emissaries, which Father Moon says we need to be the people who solve conflicts, the heavenly police corps, and then the people who help build and develop things, the heavenly peace corps. So those are our broad missions that we've been going through and working our way through all of these qualities. Today, we're going to focus on the third quality that Father Moon listed. Bringing God's children, educating God's children and bringing them home, otherwise known as witnessing. So witnessing is always kind of like, oh man, do I have to witness? But so that's what we're going to explore. Now, what does it mean to witness? Even if you look at Jesus, when just before his ascension, he gave what's called the Great Commission, where he said to his disciples, this is from Matthew, it says, therefore go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, and teaching them to obey everything I have commanded you. And surely I am with you always, to the very end of the age. So this is the Great Commission that said that we should be outreaching from, that's the last commandment that Jesus gave before he ascended into heaven. And here's Father Moon, again from the speech that we're focusing on. Cheon Il Guk is the ideal heavenly kingdom of eternal peace. Cheon Il Guk, citizens of Cheon Il Guk, the issue now is the 6.5 billion people living on earth in the physical body. They struggle in agony in the midst of sin and suffering. Yet, they are your brothers and sisters. Your third mission is to educate them and bring them home as people of Cheon Il Guk. So, educate people, bring them home, witness. I also like to call it sharing. We need to share ourselves with the world around us. Here are some of the definitions for witnessing. In the dictionary, you look it up, it says, to witness means to give or serve as evidence of something, or to testify to something, or, for example, to bear witness to something. So witness is all about sharing. Sharing something, giving something to others. And the first place that we share is our own life experience, our own testimony. Our testimony is the first thing that we have to share with people, our witness. And the starting place for that is at home, right? We need to witness to each other at the home, right? We need to encourage and testify to. Husband needs to encourage and testify to his wife. And wife needs to witness to her husband. And parents to their kids, and kids to their parents, right? That dynamic is the starting place for everything, where we encourage and support and share with each other in building something. And now, when I'm talking about witnessing and educating people, this is not just, oh, let's witness and bring people to Unification Church, right, to the Family Federation. Regardless of bringing people to join in membership or something, we're talking about educating people and raising them up so that they can experience God more deeply in their lives. So regardless of whether you're a member of our movement or a church or not, this applies to all of us. We want to be people who make a difference in the lives of people around us. You know, citizens of the Heavenly Kingdom, what we do is we multiply goodness. We share. When we have good things, we want to share it with others. So, 3 points of why we want to educate others, why we want to witness and share ourselves with people. If you think about it, the very starting point for all of this is God. Why do we want to share our lives? Why do we want to share the divine principle, the blessing, our experience with true parents? It's because of our relationship with God, our Heavenly Parent. God is the starting place for everything. And people have all kinds of bad concepts about who God is. God is either, an omnipotent, doesn't really care about you, off in the distance somewhere, the force of the universe. Or God is just this judgmental old man who's just waiting for you to do something wrong so he can throw you to hell, right? But, people have these wrong concepts about God. So, who is suffering more? We understand that God is a loving parent. So, all of us who are parents know how much we struggle when our kids, take off when they're gone. So, as a loving parent, what is God's heart towards the children that are lost? It's not, when I get them, I'm really going to scold them. No, it's a desperate parent who longs and cares and who's heartbroken. So if we're people who really care about God as our Heavenly Parent, then we want to help and make it easy for people to experience God, to come back to God, to know God, for God's sake. And then secondly, of course, it's for others. We want to live for the benefit of others. Well, people are living unfulfilled lives. People are struggling in their lives. People don't have deep meaning and value in their life. We have something to offer, something to share. So if we truly care about others, then we invest in giving what we have, sharing what we have with others. And then finally, it's ourselves. One of the most important things in our life is to realize that anything, if we just keep something to ourselves, Mother Moon used the analogy of water. Water that's just like in a little pond that doesn't move out, it becomes stale and old and eventually, grows all kinds of weird algae and strange things. But moving water, that's sharing and moving, it brings life. So if we don't share ourselves, if we become stagnant and old. Whereas if we're constantly sharing and giving, making a difference in the world around us, then God can work through us more powerfully, and also we can find greater fulfillment and joy in our own lives. So before we even start to talk about, I'm going to witness, I'm going to share, I'm going to do this kind of, making a difference in the world around us, the starting place is we need to have a foundation. So what is our foundation in our lives? What kind of foundation do we have? Well, there's three broad areas. First is our understanding of the truth. That's why we emphasize, we need to study the truth. Our practices, Hunduke, every morning we study. We fill our minds with understanding about God's heart and God's perspective. So, Hunduke is that practice where we're building a foundation where we understand and appreciate things. But if it's just understanding, just intellectual knowledge, we have a lot of conferences where scholars come and they study divine principles. This is really amazing stuff. I'm not going to follow it, but it's really interesting stuff, right? It's like philosophers. They talk all kinds of great talk in their head. So we don't want to be those kind of people, right? We just talk in our head, or we're really smart because I know about all of the books of the Bible, and I know God's providence, and I can tell you all about this history. It's good stuff to know, but that's not everything. The second is really what witnessing and sharing is about. It's our own testimony of our own spiritual growth in life. A life experiences of faith. As we go through the process of growth and development, that's something that we have to share with people. Our own spiritual growth. Now, the thing is, spiritual growth is kind of an awkward thing because growth is not comfortable. And I've noticed as I've gotten a little bit older, I kind of have, in my life, we all have our priorities. One of the priorities that seems to keep creeping up is, I don't want to be comfortable. Comfort becomes like, the Holy Grail is sitting on my sofa, and I've got my drink right here, and I'm watching entertainment, and right? It's easy to move that direction, because growth is discomfort. It means being uncomfortable. when we're young, it's like, oh yeah, give me some excitement, adventure. I don't want the same old thing. Let me do something new, right? You have to be careful when we get old. We don't say, I've had enough of growing. I think I've grown enough. No, because you know what that means? As soon as we stop growing, what happens? We die. We start dying. And when we stop being actively involved in change, that means sometimes it's healthy for us to put ourselves in uncomfortable situations. It's healthy for us to make ourselves uncomfortable just to keep ourselves alive. Remind me that I'm alive. So, spiritual growth, our own investment in our life of faith, that we're growing, that we're deepening our relationship with God and relationship with others, and that we have something to share. And then thirdly, our foundation is on what we do with our lives. Of course, spiritual growth is connected to that, and our understanding is connected to that. But the practice in our daily life, are we putting into practice what we believe? Are we actually being people of action? Are we genuinely living for the sake of others? Or are we just telling people, oh, you should live for the sake of others? Right? Or we're just thinking about living for the sake of others? Or are we practicing it in our lives, in our daily lives? So our foundation to have something to give to others, to share to others, is our understanding of the truth, our spiritual growth, the challenges that we faced and overcome, and our deepening relationship with God as our Heavenly Parent, and our daily life, our practice of this life of faith, of life of love, and living for the benefit of others. The foundation for all of this is home church. The starting place is at home, in the family. Like I said, spouses witnessing to each other, parents and children, witnessing and testifying and encouraging and sharing with each other. Home church, and then with our family, and then our tribe, and expanding out. So the foundation begins there, at home. That's the foundation that we build on so that we have something to share with others, our life of faith. So how about techniques for witnessing and sharing what we have? There's a number of different methods. There's two broad ones that I'm going to talk about, and I'll flesh it out. But first is the one we're familiar with. When we say witnessing, it usually means cold calls from the marketing or sales point of view. It's like going out in the street, meeting strangers, and grabbing them and bringing them to church for workshop, right? Come on, come listen to the truth. Meeting strangers, and that's actually amazing. Most of us, I'm sure everyone has had incredible experiences with total strangers that you had profound experiences with, became in the future deep friends. So that's definitely one strategy. Once I heard it described, that the strategy of witnessing, when you go out, you just meet strangers all the time and bring them in, that's like picking all the right fruit off of trees. People who are already prepared and already interested in those kinds of things, they respond. And they'll come, they'll listen and study and maybe join. And that's one way of doing it. You go out and you just look for the right fruit. To do that, of course, we need to be sociable people. We need to be friendly people. We need to meet people, right? The other side of that is, I get called the broad category of home church. It's more the natural style of witnessing, where what we do is we share, we testify to our lives to the people who are in our lives, to our friends, people we care about, people we work with, the people in our neighborhood, in our environment. We can put that into the broad category of home church, from home. And the first way that we do that is simply by example. One of the most important testimonies in our life is the example of how we live our life. What do we do? What decisions do we make? All of this is part of God's hope, that we will become people that can multiply goodness in the world around us. That we will become people that God can work through our example. But there's one key ingredient that's important if we're going to witness through example. People need to know who we are. One of the things that I try to do, especially when I develop relationship with people, as soon as possible in a natural way, I want people to know I believe in God. I want to know people that I'm a follower of Sun Myung Moon. I'm a churchgoer. Just mention, I go to church on Sunday, I'm preparing for, what are you going to be doing this weekend? We got church on Sunday, but, everything else is free. Just natural ways to just let people know that we are people, that religion, belief in God is something that's significant. Then, in all the interactions or stuff, and they are observing, that's one of those crazy God believers, huh? So, when they look at us and look at what we're doing with our lives, then, of course, that's a double-edged sword, because then they go, there's what that person who believes in God is doing, huh? Actually, it's good for us to pay attention to that, because we're always being examples. We're representatives of our faith. So God hopes that we'll be those examples. But if people just look at us and they don't know, we keep it a secret that we believe in God. We keep it a secret that God's important to us and our church we belong to. Then people think, hey, he's a pretty good person. Yeah, whatever. And all that, just good. Has nothing to do with God or our life of faith, which is the most important internal aspect of our lives. Now, this is different than shoving it down people's throat, Here's a Bible, I'm going to beat you over the head with it. Here's a divine principle, I'm going to shove it down your throat and make you understand the truth. No, this is called genuine sharing who I am. I believe in God, and I think God is an important part of life. And just that simple statement opens the door for this last section, which I call conversations. Rather than, conversations happen in every arena. We when we go out witnessing, we're trying to strike up conversations. But in our natural life with people, we talk all the time. We share. And especially people that we're interested in and we care about, we have conversations, right? Give and take action. We discuss and talk. That is actually the most powerful way for us to witness, is through just discussing and sharing and talking and being friends. It's not forcing people to do something. It's not trying to, I'm going to brainwash you, I'm going to convince you, I'm going to convert you. No, it's sharing genuinely what we have to testify to. When we think about these spiritual conversations, here's three broad areas. Number one is we just share the activity of God in our life. Just share. I was struggling the other day, and I spent some time in prayer and meditation. And, I kind of got this realization. I like to, and just share that with someone. And just share naturally how God is present in our lives, not in a false or strange way, but in a genuine way. How God is present in my life and how God has been working in my life, especially for people that are already in our life and that we care about. Then also, instead of us always just telling, we want to be people who listen to others, to listen to where they're at, especially the spiritual needs of the people that we care about, of our friends. And we try to be responsive to that. It's so easy to make our conversations about, isn't that nice? We got lots of rain today. Yeah, really nice and rain. A little bit uncomfortable, but I'm glad we have, we're just talking about rain, right? We're talking about the weather. It's so easy to do that. And that's fine. It's a beginning point, icebreaker, get us going. But if we really want to have a deep relationship, a valuable relationship with people, don't we want to talk about more significant things in our lives? Don't we want to talk about the deeper and things that we value, and discover the things that they value, that are important to them? This is part of just a genuine relationship. We share about what's important to us, and we find what's important to the people that we care about, their lives. And then, on the foundation also of our understanding, when there's a natural opportunity, we can share a God-centered or a principled perspective on things. About relationships, or about God as being the heavenly parent, not just, God the Father. But, did you ever think God, also has a feminine quality to God? That's a great icebreaker, an interesting question when you explore or talk with people. So, really, I never thought about that, for people who already believe in God. So, what I'm talking about is not, let's don't be strange, let's be real with people. And in order to be real, let's make sure that our lives are rich in spiritual growth, in going to those uncomfortable places and being challenged, and that we just share because we care about people, about our friends. Now, here's a list of questions that can stimulate some spiritual conversations. So, you're just asking friends, what are your thoughts about God and religion? God's important to me. I'm just curious, what does it mean to you? What's it like in your life? And people who believe in God, ask, well, where are you in your spiritual pilgrimage? How do you see your spiritual growth developing? Actually, get some really beautiful understanding and actually nourish ourselves when people share their own testimony. And when you hear someone's testimony, it can be quite profound. And even ask, well, what kind of spiritual practices do you have? What do you do in your spiritual life? Do you have a regular meditation or things like that? It's actually quite interesting, and especially if people that you care about. Of course, and you can share naturally then about your own life, yourself. Now, people that say, well, God, maybe not. Well, then maybe the conversation is more around, well, how do you see yourself developing and growing as a person, as a human being? What kind of things do you do? How's your life of development? How do you deal with challenges in your life or difficulties? All these different kinds of questions that stimulate a more profound discussion, interaction, and give and take than, what do you think of the weather? What do you think of all that rain? Good news, huh? Asking people, do you consider yourself someone who's seeking out the truth? And how about when you start talking about, those politicians and the government and this and the crime and that kind of thing? Well, what do you think's underneath all that? Have you ever thought about that? What kind of thing? Makes for an interesting discussion. And we're not trying to hit people over the head with the divine principle. What we're trying to do is to nurture a relationship of give and take where we can grow. And it's very important. It's easy for people of faith to get arrogant. Think, I have all the answers and I'm going to tell you what the right answer is. And it's just not that way. Through sharing and relationship, our own appreciation and understanding of the truth grows. So it's a mutual exchange. It's not, I'm a fire hose, I'm going to put out the fire, I'm going to tell you what the story is. No, it's a sharing. And when we are genuinely nourished, when we genuinely listen and value what people are sharing with us, then also they're interested to hear what we have to share as well. Because we're not just, I'm right and you're wrong. We're like, wow, how about this perspective? And what we're looking for is profound relationships, deep meaningful relationships in our lives. It's easy to go through life with lots of superficial, interactions and relations, but we want something more, much more satisfying. When you have people in your life that, we don't have to agree on everything. We don't have to agree on most things, but we just agree that we like interacting with each other and that we can grow through our relationship with each other. So, let me just summarize with the key points for, practically speaking, to be people who genuinely are available to educate and support other people, bring people deeper into a relationship with God. Three things we can do. One is we make a clear list, right? Write it down. A prayer list of people that we care about in our lives. Making a list of people that we just reflect on and pray about. What's important in that person's life? What are their needs? What's going forward? Giving ourselves a focused intention of caring for these people. The people in our lives, our family, our friends, our community, and making a positive effort towards spiritually caring for them. That changes us automatically. But also, we believe the power of prayer. And we're praying for the well-being and the spiritual growth of the people we care about in our life. Let's put them on a list. Make it substantial. Write it down. Pray about people.
specifically. And then we also need to cultivate our testimony. That's something that sometimes it takes a little practice. We need to think about, well, what is my testimony? I don't have anything. I don't know anything. I'm just here because my parents joined. I got no choice. We each need to look in our own lives. When did God become real to us? And how is God real to us this past week? You can get so far on, I remember 50 years ago when someone told me about God and I had an amazing revelation. They go, okay, well, how about last week? Last week? Oh, I don't know. But let me tell you about 50 years ago. Our spiritual life needs to be active and alive, right? We need to be continually spiritually growing. And like I said before, sometimes that means being uncomfortable. And as much as we like our comfort, being uncomfortable is where we're going to grow. It's the place where we have space to grow. That, out of our comfort zone is where we can expand. So I encourage you to spend some time and just think, what is my testimony? I watched a great webinar last week on, and I think I sent out a link to everyone, on writing your memoir. Everyone should be considering writing your memoir. You don't have to wait till you're really old to do it. Start writing now. Write your memoir. Think about our testimony. What lessons have I learned in my life that are useful to share with others? How have I grown through challenges? What difficulties have I faced? Also, of course, in being a salesperson or marketer, there's the thing called your elevator talk, right? Where just 1 minute you can just tell people what's important to you in your life. And we should think about that. We should, it's something you don't have to, every time I got to make up something new. No, think, what are the bottom line? What's important to me in my life? What are the things that I'm grateful for in my life? That's, for me, that's the beginning place. I like to tell people what I'm thankful for. That's just, where it starts, with gratitude. And especially because I believe in God. I'm very grateful for my experience and my relationship with God. That's what's important to me. And I'm hoping that through my life I can make a positive impact on the world around me, and that the little impact that I can make can multiply and benefit others. That's the kind of simple thing that we just share. That's what I'm about. And by the way, would you need some database work? And then the last point is just if we do get serious about conversations, and I poke fun at let's talk about the weather, but it's fun. It's nice to talk about the weather. Talk about the food. Talk about that's not a problem. The problem is that if that's all we go into, if that's all we talk about, if we become superficial people, if we really want to have a deep and profound relationship with people, then let's look to deepen those conversations that we have with people. What is important to you? What are you looking for in the future? And genuinely listening and responding to them, and being willing and open to sharing our own stories, our own lives. Let me close with this from Father Moon. He says, we do not witness with weapons, like the Bible or the divine principle, right? We witness with love. Our victory is based on saving Cain through the love of Abel. It is to restore with true love those who were conquered by false love. This is the only way we can return to that original world, a world devoid of conflict. So let's be those genuine people of true love who care about the people around us and make a difference by sharing our testimony and listening and responding to theirs. Please join me in prayer. Good morning, Father, Mother God, our loving Heavenly Parent. We thank you so much for your investment in each one of us, in our lives, and the hope and the vision that we have because of our understanding of the principle, because of the blessings we received through you and through our true parents. Heavenly Parents, now we stand at a time where in our life so much is happening in the world around us, and sometimes it feels so overwhelming, even at the world level, but even in our own personal lives. So, Heavenly Parent, we want to bring before you all those challenges, the things that we're facing, and we want to offer up our heart, our genuine heart, to be, no matter what, to be your true sons and daughters who practice true love. Heavenly Parent, please guide us and open up our hearts to the people in our lives around us, the people that you bring across our paths, the opportunities that we have to make new and deeper and profound, eternal friendships and relationships with the people in our environment, the people of our tribe. Heavenly Parent, thank you so much for your precious love for all people, all your children. And we pray as your faithful sons and daughters that we can bring your children home to you, that they can know you as their true loving parent, as the God who suffers when they suffer, who grieves when we grieve. Heavenly Parent, thank you so much for never giving up on us in your undying love. So please guide us that as your sons and daughters we can represent that love in all of our actions, in all that we do in this world around us. So as your sons and daughters and as blessed central families, we offer up ourselves on this prayer to you. Amen and adieu. Okay, please turn to your neighbor and share your testimony.